of disputes. Yes.
And what kind of training do you get? I know that having been through a mediation training myself, that some programs give a general overview of the kinds of laws that might be involved. Some do not. What's the training like that you go through?
Well, we do civil. We do anything to do. The training goes through the city, the city attorney's office, and they give us X amount of hours, and we put in also 160 hours of community service, if you will, or volunteer service. And that's what we do. We're volunteers for the city attorney's office.
Now, how long have you been doing mediation?
For about a year now.
Okay, and
yes.
How busy are you? How busy is the office?
Very busy. And I also handle the Spanish-speaking people. So being of Spanish descent, Mexican in fact, and that's what I do. I handle the Spanish mostly.
And I think it's important for the viewers to know that the program, it's probably these days more than bilingual. We probably can handle disputes in a number of major languages.
Yes, in fact, we have Korean people also that volunteer. So we have, as far as I know, Chinese, Korean, Indian, Latino, and American as well.
So if somebody is seeing this and says, well, I've got an issue with a merchant down the street who won't let me in with my service animal or my wheelchair, what would they do? How would they get in touch with you?
Well, they can call our office, and the number is on the pamphlet. The District Attorney's Office of Dispute Resolution Program is what it's called. And it's a free service. It's on the book. You can find it on your yellow pages, and you can find it also if you call the City Attorney's Office.
And the easiest thing for folks to do, and this is what I'm always telling people to do, just call 311. If you're in the city and you're calling from a landline, just call 311, tell them what you need, and they'll direct you to the right office. Thank you very much, Jay, for being with us today.
Thank you, Mitch, very much.
Since I've always had an interest in space exploration and the like, and since they were at the expo, our last stop was to the NASA booth. Here visiting with James Lucero from NASA, and this is probably the closest I'll ever get to being in the space program. But James, tell us why NASA is here at the Accessible City Expo today.
Well, NASA is here to try and do recruitment and outreach, specifically today for individuals with disabilities. There's a big push in the federal government to try and hire more individuals with disabilities, especially targeted disabilities. And so we're out here trying to identify candidates that might be targets for good for positions that we have available, or for some of the student programs that we operate. And so, in addition to trying to look for individuals that might be interested in employment, I'm trying to look for students who might be interested in internships or some of the programs that we have available.
Now, I know someone who has worked for NASA for many years. I know that NASA has a very active program to bring people with disabilities into your organization. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, each NASA center has a equal opportunity programs office, and I have counterparts at each of the centers who try and get the word out regarding the programs, try and look for individuals who might be, as I mentioned, candidates for employment opportunities. What we try and do is we try and work with managers around the centers to identify positions that might be recruiting for, and then try and look at the qualification requirements for those positions and see if we can identify individuals who might be good matches for those positions.
Now, this program is seen throughout the city of Los Angeles. You mentioned you have a college internship program. Talk some about that and what where the closest facility would be where such a program would be available.
Okay. Well, we have a lot of different student programs and internship opportunities. We have programs for students in high school, in pursuing an undergraduate degree, a graduate degree, postdocs. Some of the programs I think that are really applicable here are the Department of Labor's Workforce Recruitment Program, which is for individuals pursuing any type of degree, working for the federal government across the country. The Workforce Recruitment Program is what they do is they get students who are interested, they work with the schools, they go out, they send out recruiters, they interview students, and they put together a database of students who are interested in summer internships. That database is shared with the federal agencies, and then they try and go through the database, identify again maybe individuals who are going to be good fits for the type of work that they have available, type of internships that they might have, and contact those students, interview them, maybe bring them out for a summer internship. So I try and bring a student out every summer under that program.
Very good. And if somebody wanted more information about internship opportunities or job opportunities with NASA, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, if somebody has questions about the programs, they can either give me a call or email me. My phone number is 661-276-2472. My email is james.a.lucero, Lucero, at nasa.gov. That's nasa.gov. What I would really encourage people to do is, because there's a lot of information out there online, is to go out and use a browser of some sort and search for the information on the web. The Department of Labor, what you can do is search for Department of Labor Workforce Recruitment Program, and that would be probably the easiest way to get all the information on that program.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Before leaving the Accessible City Expo for another year, let's watch and listen to a short performance by the ARC Bell Choir. Again, if you would like information about the Department on Disability, you may reach us by phone at 213-485-6334 voice or 213-485-6655 or via email at www.lacity.org/DOD. Also, if you have a question or comment about Disability Forum, please email me directly at Mitch, M-I-T-C-H, .Pomerantz, P-O-M-E-R-A-N-T-Z, at lacity.org. This has been Disability Forum with your host, Mitch Pomerantz. Until next time, thanks for watching and take care.
Check this out, I'm at the light, right? Dude was trying to fill me out, so I blew right past him. Yeah, I won. But I wasn't the real winner, because he's alive and I'm dead.
What about my family? I wasn't even part of your street race. Now I'm dead.
And don't even think, man, that'll never happen to me, dog, because that's what I thought. And now, I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye. Listen,
Life is important. Drive responsibly. Learn more at watchtheroad.org.
LA City View Channel 35. Your city, your channel.
and Mr. Garcetti was excused to arrive at 10:30 this morning. Ms. Hahn and Mr. Cesar are excused. Mr. Levant will arrive at 2:10. So we are waiting for Mr. Koretz. I will ask
Near the garage.
Which garage?
The garage.
City Hall garage.
I know this. I know.
I do appreciate it. I know the council president appreciates it. I think collectively, we agreed as a body that we're not here like this meeting. We cannot have a forum. We're going to adjourn. Good morning and welcome to Los Angeles City Hall. And we are awaiting a quorum. Mr. Wesson has arrived. Thank you very much, Mr. Wesson. We now have a quorum. Welcome to the Los Angeles City Council chambers. And this is a meeting of the Los Angeles City Council. Today is February the 25th, 2010. Council meets 3 times per week on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and all meetings are open to the public. And for those who cannot make it to City Hall, you can listen to the meetings via cable, you can watch the meetings on cable channel 35 or view our website at www.lacity.org or listen in on council phone at 213-621-CITY. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alarcon, Cardenas, Hahn, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Wesson-Zine, Garcetti, 10 members present and a quorum, Madam President.
What's the first item of business?
This is a special meeting. The first items 1 and 2, are items for which public hearings have been held and committee reports have been circulated.
All right. Members, anyone desiring to call either of these items special? If not, please, item 1 special. What do you want me to do, hold it? I will hold it on the desk, hold item 1 on the desk. Item 2? The special meeting is a 2-item agenda. Sir? 4-item agenda. All right, so we're going to hold item 1 on the desk until Mr. Garcetti comes in. Mr. Wesson has called item 2 on the special agenda special. Next item.
Items 3 and 4 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
All right.
4 on the desk.
All right, Mr. Cardenas has asked for number 4 to be held on the desk. No request for item 3, so open the roll on item
And
3.
Madam President, there is no action required on item 3.
All right. So should we we'll be holding 1, 2, and 4 on the desk for the special meeting. And I believe we can go back to the regular meeting.
There is no regular
No
meeting
regular
today, Madam
meeting.
President.
All right, well then we'll go to item 2 and call on Mr. Wesson. Mr. Wesson, for item 2.
I think that works for everybody.
Okay.
Mr. Wesson, for item 2? Mr. Wesson, are you ready to speak on item 2?
Tell me you gotta finish your nuts.
He would like to say on the...
Yes, Madam President. That's embarrassing. Anyway, I guess it was 3 weeks or so ago, we requested that an item regarding AB 1290 monies be sent back to committee, to the Housing Committee, so that we could vet and find out what projects were being affected by this, and we wanted to try to come up with a way that we could still get as much money, and I believe at that point in time the money total was $10 million. We just wanted to make sure that it was fair and it was equitable. And the way that it appeared to the members of the committee yesterday was under the first plan recommended. The reality of the situation was that this money was going to be taken out of the districts that could afford it the least. So when you're looking at ways to spur the economy in these districts, we just felt that there was a better way to do this. So we came up with an alternative plan yesterday, but it's my understanding that there's another recommendation that is very similar to what we discussed in committee yesterday, that on some type of a percentage basis, it would still give individual council districts the ability to determine where and what funds they would take this money for. So I don't know, Mr. Smith, who was the maker of that motion, but I'm open personally to that, and I'd just like to get some more details on that alternative measure.
Mr. Cardenas, maybe you can add to that.
Yes, also to the chairman of the committee, some figures have been rolling around, and I may be mixing issues here, but perhaps not, where the council president had talked about the council moving funds into the emergency reserve a few weeks ago. In excess of $12 million was the goal of the amount of funds that we were hoping to identify, and as a council move those funds. And I also heard a figure of $15 million, but this item here is the only place that I've heard the figure as $20 million if we're talking about the same endeavor or the same effort. So what I'd like to do is we can hold this on the desk until we can figure out which figure we can actually work with and which goal we will actually attain, and then identify from where we will get those millions of dollars and move them into the reserve fund.
Okay, Mr. Smith pressed his button. We don't share time, but, all right, press your button again, Mr. Wesson. Let's be in compliance this morning, everybody.
Okay.
Mr. Smith.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say, we had some discussions yesterday with CLA, and others around this chamber have talked to them about this. While it is our intent to try and get that number as high as possible, 15 became hard, and there are some else that we're going to have a hard time figuring that out. I think it would be better if we go back to the original conversation we had about a week ago, and that was that we look for $12 million initially. We'll continue to work on it. That would be $800,000 per office. Let you figure out which funds you want to pull that from to hit that number, but that will give you more flexibility. So I move that the target amount be $12 million, that be equally distributed amongst the council offices, actually equal amount each person, and then you will have the authority to pull from whichever accounts you want to reach that number. So that would be my motion.
Is there a second?
Second for Mr. Parks. There's somebody ahead of you now,
Yeah.
and he's pretty special, Mr. Richard Alarcon.
I absolutely concur with Mr. Smith. I thought I'd just say that one time. Why not?
No, wait. Could you say it again?
Well, if we're going to come in on Mondays and Thursdays, we should do something. And to table this or to do nothing, there's nothing else very substantive on the agenda, I think it sends the wrong message. And of course, we have those bond raters watching us, and so if we send a message that we are cutting our budget by $12 million, I think that's what we should be doing, but we should do it every single day until we get to the figure that we need. And so I absolutely support it, although I do think we may have another figure that we can get to, but I want to thank Mr. Wesson for his leadership in recognizing that if we're going to share the pain, then we should do it equitably and not place it on the backs of the poorest in our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alarcon. Mr. Wesson? Okay, Mr. Wesson.
So what is actually before us? Because we can take this recommendation and incorporate it in the motion that we voted on yesterday. So we can just alter or amend into what we voted on in HCED this element, and I think that would work for us. And I do, unfortunately, believe we're going to have to come back later and try to get some other funds as well. But I'm very comfortable at this time, with us doing that. But I do think that it's important for us to go on the record to make it crystal clear that this budget will not be balanced on the backs of poor people. It's just not going to happen. And that there will be several of us on this council that will not go quietly into the night. I mean, we will engage in that debate. So at this point, I'm comfortable, and it would appear that the other members of the HCD committee are comfortable. So if we could just incorporate that in the action that we took yesterday, and then I'm definitely prepared to vote on it today.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Mr. Cardenas.
So if we were to pass this motion as amended by Councilmember Smith, then as I calculate $12 million, that would average $800,000 per council district. So we would pass that today, and then on a subsequent day, we will identify which accounts that money is exactly coming from, correct? Or today we will have...
The council person would be able to have the authority.
Yeah. But when would we do that?
Okay, one person at a time. Mr. Cardenas has the floor.
Okay,
But Mr. Cardenas has the floor.
Okay, question to Mr. Wesson. So we would set a date certain today, and then by that date, the council will acknowledge and pass the exact accounts of which that $12 million accumulated from?
Yesterday, didn't we have a time frame?
No, we had said March 11th.
So why don't we just keep the same time frame, which was 2 weeks for every council office, or is that a problem?
No,
Mr. Miller.
If I could suggest, we've got some language that can be substituted for item 1 on the committee report, and in essence, it would do what the committee said, but reduce the amount to $12 million with instruction to our office to work with each of the council offices to identify the sources. You don't need to individually approve those sources, so the instruction would be to for the CLA to provide instructions to the controller for the transfers. There may be some ordinance amendments that are required, and we will look at those depending upon the funding sources. But that's what I would recommend, is the $12 million instruction for us to work with each office.
Okay, so since I still have time, then to that point, so it's clear to everybody, should we pass this motion today at $12 million, and that each council office will equally contribute to that $12 million, and as the CLA said, that will suffice with the actions where we will identify administratively where those funds are going to come from via each council office decision. However, by the 11th of March, if there's any other actions that need to be taken to complete this properly, then we will do those subsequent actions by the 11th. So the major action will have been taken today. Money will be moved prior to the 11th on the natural based on all the identified accounts. And then if there's any, as Mr. Miller, our CLA, just mentioned, if there's any subsequent actions by the council that need to be taken, then I want to make sure that we take those by the 11th of March. Is that a comfortable time frame for those kinds of actions, Mr. Miller?
I believe it is. My staff will work with City Attorney on drafting any simple ordinance amendments, and we should be able to have all of those to you by the 11th.
Okay. Thank you,
All
Madam
right,
President.
thank you. So that is accepted as an amendment. Mr. Wesson?
But Mr. Cardenas and Richard, Mr. Cardenas, and Ed, I think, was there as well. We did have a big question, and I don't remember which one of you asked the question. And
If it was a good question, it was probably me.
Okay, then it was yours. We didn't get the answer. There was a discussion, and we talked about, where related to the AB 90 money, that we had been informed that that money could only be used for economic development purposes. So that's in our minds as we as council people move forward. But yet the proposal, the initial proposal, was to sweep that and put it in the general fund. And I think the question was...
That was my excellent question.
Mr. Alarcon,
well, then maybe you should...
next.
But I think we should... I'd like to get an answer.
Okay, let Mr. Wesson finish his time.
I'm done.
All right, thank you.
I'm done,
Mr.
but
Wesson's done. Mr. Alarcon, you're next in the queue.
Oh, did we get
All right, are you done?
I can answer that if you'd like.
I think we're fine. I think
Okay.
we're good. We're good. Thank you very much. All right, thank you, everybody. So we're going to vote on this report out of HCED as amended by Mr. Cardenas. And Mr. Cardenas, who was your second on that? Okay, amended by Smith, seconded by Mr. Cardenas? Okay, that's fine. Open the roll on that, please. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
All right, thank you very much. What is our next item? Item 4?
Items 1 and 4 were being held on the desk right now.
All right, is item 1 ready to go now? All right, we want to go to item 4 next then.
Item 4 was being held for Councilmember Cardenas.
All right, Mr. Cardenas.
Is that our last item on the agenda? No. I'd like to hold that last. I'm trying to figure something out. Okay, if you could just give me a few minutes and hold that up. No public comment today?
No.
When you need public comment, where is it? Jeez.
All right, we'll go to item 1 then. Let's take item 1 up right now. Item 1?
Item 1 was being held for Councilmember Garcetti.
Mr. Wesson, can you make the report?
This item could just be received and filed, because that was the action that we took yesterday.
Thank you very much. Let's open the roll on that. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
All right, what items do we have left on the desk?
That does leave item 4.
Mr. Cardenas.
I'm signing a substitute motion. If I can get a second, then I'll submit it in a minute.
What is it?
This is the funds that I control, projects and stuff, but just to warn you, 97 is, I'm going to try to get into my salary account. Antonio.
Ready to go on that? Okay, the motion is being distributed as we speak on item 1. It is item 4, I'm sorry, item 4, substitute motion by Mr. Cardenas. And as soon as it is received, did you want to tell us what it is about, Mr. Cardenas, while it's going around? We're on item 4 now.
Yes, this is an item that moves some funds to various projects in my district and other responsibilities that Council District 6 is in charge of and entitled to do. I just hope that you can support me on this item, item number 4. But I prefer we not vote until it's distributed. Thank you.
I'll give it a few seconds.
I know I can be long-winded, but it's just that that's what it is in a nutshell. Alarcón seconded it.
For the record, Mr. Alarcón seconded it, so I think it will pass unanimously. Highly likely.
Oh, no, that's not for a substitute.
All right, the motion is being distributed as we speak. And thank you to the CLA for being so expeditious in getting this motion distributed. All right, everyone has a copy of the motion now. Mr. Clerk, would you please?
It's been distributed. Thank you very much. It doesn't change what I said earlier. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Please open the roll on this item. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
9 ayes, 1 no.
Okay.
Part? Voted no. We'll give him time to read it. I want unanimous. I'll reconsider it. Did you have a chance to read it, Councilmember Parks? It's up to you.
Unless there's a motion for reconsideration? Is there a motion for reconsideration on this item?
And I'll go forthwith?
Yeah, we can do forthwith.
Bernard, same? No, that's all right. Okay, that's fine. So, no, I do not move to reconsider. It's fine. You do or don't? Okay, move to reconsider.
But he doesn't need to.
Move.
It doesn't change the vote. The vote.
No, but
We can change your vote without moving to reconsider because it wouldn't change the outcome.
It just changes the vote.
All right, Mr. Parks has requested that his vote be changed from a no to a yes vote. Can we go ahead and do that? All right, so would you let the record reflect Mr. Parks voted as yes on this item? What, Mr. Heath?
So if it voted no, it did it on its own. So I want to vote no.
It's connected.
You were recorded as a no, but you never touched your machine. So just for the record, for clarification, Mr. Parks, do you want to be recorded? No. Mr. Parks wants to be recorded as a no vote. Okay.
Yep.
All right, fine.
But I never touched it.
All right, so then leave it alone. All right. All right, that item has been voted on. The record's closed. There's no further business on the special agenda.
Forthwith on item 4.
The meeting is adjourned. Please call the roll. I guess.
Alarcon, Cardenas, Koretz, Krikorian, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Smith, Wesson, Zine.
All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.